Have you ever stopped to think about what happens to your mind in the minutes before bed? Ever wondered why some people seem to experience everyday miracles while others carry an invisible weight night after night? What if I told you that there is something extremely simple, a phrase, a thought, a silent command that you can say before you close your eyes, and that this can change the course of your life? It is not an exaggeration. It is a science of the mind. It's what Joseph Murphy would call whispering to the subconscious. But no one taught you how to do it the right way. No one has shown you how to activate the invisible intelligence that dwells within you, the one that listens when all is silent. But today, that will change. This video is an invitation to a radical change in the way you think, feel, and attract. And, most importantly, it will reveal to you how to use the last moments of your day to rewrite your destiny. Because it is at this moment, when the body relaxes and the mind begins to dive into the alpha state, that the door between the conscious and the subconscious opens, and everything you plant there flowers. You will understand why certain words before bed work as secret codes. You'll discover how to use your imagination in an almost magical way, not with naive optimism, but with a deep understanding of how the universe responds to the internal language you carry. And yes, the last revelation of this video is the most powerful. It is the turning point. It is that which, when truly understood, transforms the impossible into routine. But first, tell me, what do you usually say to yourself before going to sleep? What are the silent phrases that your mind repeats when no one is listening? Is it, "I can't take it anymore"? Is it, "Why does everything go wrong for me"? Is it, "Hopefully tomorrow will be less worse"? If it is, know that you are not alone. But also know that this comes at a price. Because the subconscious doesn't argue, it just accepts. And he repeats, and it manifests. Therefore, if you really want to change your reality, there is no point in trying to fix the world outside. It needs to start here. It must begin at night, in the silence, when the whole world falls asleep, but your soul is still awake, waiting for instructions. This is where it all starts to fall into place. The law of attraction that you've heard of, but never fully understood, starts to make sense. And not because she is a cosmic trick, but because she is a psychic cog. What you feel intensely and believe often, you live. Not by magic, but because your brain and the universe work by vibration. And everything vibrates around you according to what you vibrate inside. So before you go to sleep, when your brain waves slow down, when the body shuts down, that's when you connect with the creative essence of life. And it is at this moment that certain words have the power to create realities. Literally. You will understand today what it really means to talk to God within you. Not the God of walls, rules, and dogmas, but the God vibration, the God consciousness, which Joseph Murphy describes as the higher self, present in all of us. And he listens. Listen to what you feel. Listen to what you believe. And he answers, always. So stay until the end, because what you're going to learn here can be the difference between continuing to survive or start living. By the way, if this topic is already moving you in some way, take advantage now and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, leave your like. This helps this content reach more people who, like you, are looking for deeper answers, not fleeting distractions. And if you feel like you've tried everything, read ready-made sentences, made statements and visualizations that didn't seem to work, there is something that you may not have tried yet. The right way to communicate with the subconscious. There is a precise, almost surgical way to use your imagination, and the right word, to plant what you want to harvest. That's what we're going to talk about from now on. And if you're really ready to change levels, there's some special content for you. It's in the first pinned comment. Click when you feel it's time, but only if you're willing to really transform your life from the inside out. Now take a deep breath, because what's next? It may be the explanation you've always been looking for, but never found. All your life, you've been taught to think logically, to measure, calculate, predict. He was taught to distrust the invisible, to despise the inner silence, to call silly everything that could not be touched with his hands or proven with numbers. And maybe that's exactly why things seem too difficult, because you're trying to create a new future using a tool that only repeats the past. The conscious mind. Joseph Murphy explains that the subconscious is like fertile soil. In it, everything you plant grows. The problem is that most people plant fear, doubt, guilt, scarcity, and then he is surprised when he reaps exactly that. But the soil does not choose the seed. It only fulfills its function, to transform the invisible into reality. And that's where a lot of people get lost, because he tries to change his life by repeating phrases like a parrot, without understanding that what convinces the subconscious are not the words themselves, but the feeling behind them. It is not repeating, "I am prosperous," while inside you are afraid of the expired bill. It is to feel prosperous even when the account is zero, not by denial, but by creation. Before going to sleep, the body falls asleep, but the mind is still awake. Not the logical mind, which you use to pay bills and remember appointments, but the creative mind, the subconscious. And he's listening. This is when you can place orders, or rather, commands. Murphy said that the subconscious is like a faithful servant. He does not question, he does not judge, he does not argue. He simply obeys what you accept as truth. If you say to yourself, "Nothing works out for me," he accepts. If he says, "I'm unlucky," he agrees. But if he says, "I trust the infinite intelligence within me," he also believes, and he acts accordingly. Imagine this: an artist who paints his own destiny while sleeping. That's what you are. But most have never learned to hold the brush. He lives waiting for something out there to change, for someone to come up with answers, for fate to resolve itself. When in fact, the most powerful change begins with a subtle choice made in silence, the choice of what to feel before falling asleep. Feel now, as if what you most desire is already real. Don't think about how it's going to happen. That's not your part. The subconscious deals with the what. The universe takes care of the how. Your job is to deliver a clear and emotionally charged order. The universe's job is to answer. Perhaps now you are wondering, but how to feel something that does not yet exist? The answer is simple, although few people have the courage to apply it. Use your imagination, but use it the right way. Imagine with details, with emotion, with delivery. Not as someone who pretends, but as someone who accesses a future that already exists. It just hasn't manifested itself yet. Close your eyes. See yourself living what you want so much. Feel the gratitude of having already received. Breathe like you've already gotten there. And, most importantly, talk to your subconscious as if giving a loving order, not a desperate request. Don't say, "Please help me." Say, "Gratitude because it is already done." Because the time of the subconscious is not the same as that of the clock. For him, everything is now. And in this silent now, before sleeping, lies its greatest power. Many don't know, but there is a secret hidden between the lines of Joseph Murphy's teachings. One code, one key. Emotion is the language of the subconscious. Words without emotion are like seeds thrown in stone. But a simple phrase, felt with truth, penetrates deep into the mind and begins to transform everything. So, when you go to sleep today, say this to yourself: "Everything I need is already coming to me. My subconscious works in my favor while I sleep. I am guided by the infinite wisdom that dwells within me." Don't say it mechanically. Say it feeling, as if knowing, like someone who already lives. And if you want to go a step further, imagine yourself getting exactly what you want. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the touch, the smell, the presence. turn the invisible into something almost palpable, and then release, delivered, trust. Now stop for a moment and think. How many nights have you wasted falling asleep with anxiety, fear, or remembering things that went wrong? How many times have you programmed your subconscious to repeat a pattern that you can't stand to live anymore? The time has come to change this cycle, and if you're feeling that this change has already started inside, maybe this is the right time to access the special content I left in the first pinned comment. It's there for a reason. And if you felt this calling, it's because it's for you. Access, but only if you are truly ready to use your mind as it was designed, as a bridge between you and the unseen. You don't need to understand all the laws of the universe, but you need to understand that what you feel before bed is more important than everything you did during the day, because it is at that moment that you are closest to the creative source, and she's always listening. By the way, the last revelation I promised at the beginning is coming, and maybe you're already feeling, without even realizing it, a subtle change happening inside. That's right. Awareness begins to expand when you allow yourself to feel what you have never felt before. And it is this feeling that opens the door to the impossible. But there is an end key, a simple change of posture that transforms all this theory into real practice. And that's what comes next. We have reached the most important point of this entire journey. And the most surprising thing is that the final revelation is not hidden in a distant place or in a mystical secret kept by a few. She's always been with you, but you may never have learned to look at her with the right eyes. Revelation is simple but powerful. What you accept as truth before you go to sleep becomes law in your life. It's not about wishing. It's not about wanting it hard. It's about accepting. When you fall asleep with the feeling that something is already real, your subconscious doesn't question it. He takes this as a definitive command, and he begins to rearrange the circumstances, people, and events around him to transform this internal order into an external experience. That's why the last thing you feel before falling asleep is so crucial, because that feeling will be processed for hours while you sleep. And make no mistake, the mind does not stop. She works tirelessly, even in her sleep. The difference is that, in this state, you are more receptive, more vulnerable, and also more powerful. So, the question that needs to echo in you from now on is, what do I want to plant today, in the soil of my subconscious? You can choose to plant anguish, worry, resentment, or you can choose to plant trust, gratitude, and certainty. The choice is always yours, but it is a choice that has consequences, because what you feel when you close your eyes will build, brick by brick, the world you will find when you open your eyes. And no, that's not cheap self-help. This is neuroscience applied to spirituality. This is what Joseph Murphy understood decades ago when he studied the effects of hypnotic suggestion, of emotionally charged repetition, of faith as a state of mind and not as a blind belief. Murphy did not teach how to pray by asking. He taught how to pray by affirming. Affirm as someone who has already received it. Pray as one who declares an internal truth, not as one who begs for an external favor. And that changes everything. The creative mind does not answer doubts. She responds to clear commands, and the clearest commands are the ones you feel with your whole body, not just repeat with your mouth. So today, before going to sleep, don't try to convince the universe of anything. Don't beg, don't negotiate, just feel it. Feel what it would be like if everything was already right. What would it be like if fear disappeared, if love was real, if prosperity flowed naturally? Imagine it as someone who contemplates a movie and feels the relief, the peace, the security. Because that feeling is the password. It is he who opens the door of the invisible. And yes, you can repeat a phrase, but let it be a key and not a decoration. For example, you might say, "Everything is conspiring in my favor, even though I don't understand how yet." Or, "Divine wisdom guides me in every detail of my life." but feel these words as if you were immersing yourself in them. And then, sleep. This is the silent miracle that almost no one practices, because it seems too simple. But what transforms is not the size of the effort, it is the depth of the delivery. The miracle happens when you stop fighting reality and start creating a new reality within yourself. Because everything you create on the inside inevitably reflects on the outside, and if at this point you are thinking that you would like to start now, you already know what to do. Start with something small. A sense of gratitude for no reason. A thought of trust, even without guarantee. A sentence spoken with intention. That is enough. Because the universe just needs a crack to start acting, and this crack is called permission. You don't need to know everything. You just need to allow yourself to feel differently than you have felt so far. And repeat that until it becomes automatic. Because the real miracle happens when the new feeling becomes a new habit. And the new habit becomes a new life. The truth is that there is no destiny written in stone. There is immense potential waiting for you to take control of what you feel. And that starts today, before bed, with a simple choice. What story will you tell yourself in the last minutes of the day? You can keep saying, "I can't take it anymore." Or you can finally start saying, "I am guided, loved, and everything is already working out for my good." Say it from the heart. Feel like truth. And then, just sleep. Meanwhile, your mind will be working. Your energy will be vibrating differently, and the world will inevitably begin to move in your favor, because you've changed inside. And if this content has touched you in any way, if something inside you has recognized this truth, perhaps an old, dormant feeling that you were born for more than you have been living, then I invite you to leave your like now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It helps me to keep bringing content like this and to bring this message to more people who need to remember their own power. But most importantly, today, before going to sleep, talk to your subconscious as if you were planting your own future. And tomorrow, notice what begins to bloom.